in Times Square. This is Good Morning America.
Good Morning America. That music gets you up on a Thursday morning, and we have a brand new Star Wars surprise this morning. Remember, The Force Awakens, such a force at the box office, biggest U.S. film ever. And now we're going to give you the first look at the trailer for a brand new movie that explains the events that got Star Wars started.
And of course, it's so top secret, we cannot show you a frame of it yet. So what you were just looking at was from The Force Awakens, not this new one. So we have the countdown clock going, the world exclusive, just moments away.
That is coming up. But first, those tornadoes touching down in the south overnight as storms damage homes and cars from Kentucky to Georgia. And Ginger's tracking it all. Hey, Ginger.
Hey, good morning, George and Amy. You know, the strong to severe storms are now moving through from central Florida up through the Carolinas. You can see a little severe thunderstorm warning at this hour. Look at some of this video from damage in Georgia overnight. Serious injuries reported in places like Marietta, Georgia, which is where you're seeing the video from there. Homewood, Alabama, this tree into a car. And if that doesn't hurt you enough, if that isn't dangerous enough for you, look at some of these numbers coming in for the Great Lakes and Midwest here. 1, the wind chill by Saturday morning. 6, Marquette. 13 is what it's going to feel like in Chicago, and that air slides to the east. Check out New York City. It's going to feel like 12 on Sunday morning. 7 in Buffalo. So we've got a lot of cold weather to talk about, even some snow that I'll be hitting on in a couple of minutes.
Oh, boy.
Not. All right, Ginger, thank you. Well, now to a manhunt. We have breaking news. That manhunt underway for 2 men who broke free from a mental hospital overnight. One of them is an accused killer. Authorities warning they are considered dangerous. ABC senior justice correspondent Pierre Thomas has been tracking all of the latest for us. Good morning to you, Pierre.
Good morning, Amy. That's right. Citizens of Washington State are waking up to some bad news and need to be on the lookout. These men are violent and possibly unstable. One of them described by a judge as, quote, scary. A massive manhunt underway for these 2 men who escaped overnight from a Washington State mental hospital. Police describe the men as dangerous, both deemed mentally incompetent to stand trial.
Because of the crimes that they committed, they're both, assumed to be dangerous to others.
Mark Alexander Adams and Anthony Garver were last seen at 6 p.m. in the hospital's dining room. Officials believe they escaped through a loose window in their room. Garver is accused of stabbing a woman 24 times before slashing her throat. This surveillance camera at a McDonald's caught Garver with the woman just days before her violent death. She can be seen buying him breakfast. The judge in Garver's murder trial described him as scary, to say the least. Adams was receiving treatment in connection with a 2014 domestic violence charge. Police warn anyone who sees the men to keep their distance and not engage them.
But we wouldn't want anybody to compromise their safety for these 2 guys.
Law enforcement in the region is on high alert, and the U.S. Marshals have been identified. This is an urgent case, George.
Sure is scary. Okay, Pierre, thanks very much. Now to the race for the White House. Donald Trump getting a big welcome in his home state of New York, trying to bounce back after losing to Ted Cruz in Wisconsin. ABC's Tom Yamas is tracking the latest in the Republican race. Good morning, Tom.
George, good morning to you. Like pastrami on rye, some things just go together. Donald Trump in New York are one of those things. Trump needs a boost at this point in the race, and overnight, thousands came out to welcome Trump home.
Y'all ready for this? This morning, Donald Trump in a New York state of mind.
Unbelievable! It's great to be home. This is home. It's great to be home. We love New York. We love New York, and we are all together going to make America great again, folks.
The GOP frontrunner trying to come back from that wallop in Wisconsin. Now, finally, with the home field advantage. The Trump tribe on hand. Daughter Ivanka, who just delivered a baby boy 11 days ago, touting her dad's accomplishments.
We saw this time and time again as he built tower after tower in New York City.
And Don Jr. telling me this. Trump rallying the crowd with this shot at Senator Ted Cruz.
And I've got this guy standing over there looking at me, talking about New York values with scorn in his face, with hatred of New York. So, folks, I think you can forget about him.
Cruz is not backing down from this fight, trying to build on his momentum from Wisconsin, campaigning in the Bronx and getting a rough welcome.
There's no business being in the Bronx. This is an immigrant community.
But the Texas senator maintains he can hurt Trump in New York by highlighting the billionaire's New York values.
People of New York know exactly what those values are. They're the values of liberal Democratic politicians like Andrew Cuomo, like Anthony Weiner, like Elliot Spitzer, like Charlie Rangel, all of whom Donald Trump has supported.
And as Cruz and even John Kasich keep campaigning this week, Trump must be feeling confident. We're told he's taking the rest of the week off, back at it on Sunday. George?
Retooling. Okay,
Yeah.
Tom, thanks very much. You saw that restaurant in the Bronx, the Chino Latino restaurant where Ted Cruz got kind of a raucous welcome. I sat down with him there and pressed him on whether that Wisconsin win he had really was a turning point in the race. Donald Trump's still far ahead in delegates. He's got a big lead here in New York.
We've won now 4 states in a row in the last 2 weeks. The victory in Wisconsin was across the board. It was a 13-point victory. And, 3 weeks ago, we were behind by 10 points in Wisconsin.
But even if you do really well going forward, you're still likely to be behind him in delegates when you get to Cleveland. And most of the voters last night said they want whoever's ahead to get the nomination.
There's only one way you get the nomination, and that is you earn a majority of the votes. Donald Trump has not been able to earn a majority of the votes just about anywhere. And that's his problem. He wants to change the rules so he doesn't have to get a majority. If we get to a convention and no one has gotten 1,237 delegates, I'll come in with a ton of delegates. He'll come in with a ton of delegates. It's then going to be up to the delegates to decide who will get the majority.
Very different here from Wisconsin. We saw that protester when he came in saying, we don't want someone anti-immigrant here.
If you're anti-immigrant, you're not welcome here.
And you know that both you and Donald Trump are in a deep hole right now with Latinos. How do you turn it around?
Well, I'll tell you, this meeting, look, there was one loudmouth protester. I mean, in the city of New York, you can find one loudmouth protester. This was a meeting we had here. Number one, we're in a small business. We're in a restaurant, and my focus is very much on small businesses because economic opportunity, jobs, come from small businesses. And I got to tell you, the energy and enthusiasm as I was meeting with pastors who were hugging me, who were saying, I'm praying for you, we're with you. We are building a broad and diverse coalition. That's what it's going to take to win the nomination, but even more importantly, that's what it's going to take to win the
job. There are also thousands of undocumented immigrants right here in this neighborhood, and you're going to deport them.
Well, we are a nation of laws, and being a nation of laws means you enforce the laws. And, every other nation on earth enforces their law. If you or I immigrated illegally to China or France or Germany or Mexico, and they caught us, they would deport us.
Donald Trump, you hit him back in Iowa for his New York values. He told the Wall Street Journal, you can't imagine any New Yorker voting for you. Said Ted Cruz doesn't care about New Yorkers, doesn't like New Yorkers. He's mocking New Yorkers.
I think most people know exactly what New York values are. Let me be very clear. The people that I was talking about are the liberal New York Democrats who have hammered this state. It is people like Mayor Bill de Blasio. It is people like Governor Cuomo.
Donald Trump, you're saying?
Who has funded them all.
So no regrets for hitting New York values? You don't think it's going to hurt you here?
Just a minute ago, we were meeting with Hispanic and African-American pastors. Senator Ruben Diaz, he's an African-American Democratic state senator. He said, I know exactly what you're talking about with New York values, and we can't stand it.
Greeted by the hometown paper here, the New York Times, a story about a legal lawsuit that Donald Trump had to settle, his organization had to settle. You've talked about his business record in the past. Are you going to put his business record on the ballot here in New York?
Well, listen, Republicans, we want to win. We want to beat Hillary. The last thing we want is to nominate someone like Donald Trump, who over and over again has allegations of fraud against him, has litigation. Last thing we want is to nominate someone who's going to be on the witness stand in October and November as much as Hillary Clinton.
This is settled.
But yet the Trump University litigation that he defrauded thousands of people with a fake university, took their money, scammed them, that's scheduled to go to trial this summer.
Final question. A lot more Americans are going to get to see you right now. What's the biggest misconception about you want to clear up?
Listen, the media does everything they can to paint any Republican as mean and scary and nasty. I'm the son of an immigrant who washed dishes and came to America with nothing. I'm the son of an Irish-Italian mom who was the first in her family to go to college. The people I'm fighting for are the people working in this restaurant. I'm fighting for the people who have been left behind. And we are seeing this coalition come together. We are seeing unity in the Republican Party, but not just among Republicans, every day. I encounter Democrats who come up to me and say, I voted for Barack Obama, but I'm with you. What we're doing now isn't working.
Senator, good to see you.
Good to see you, George.
Okay. Now, this is a big moment for Ted Cruz. We're going to see if he can capitalize on it. Makes the cover of Time magazine this morning. He's going to be out in Colorado trying to pick up delegates this weekend, but he is still far behind Amy here in New York. Latest poll shows Donald Trump above 50%.
Yeah, a resounding lead. And things are certainly heating up on the Democratic side as well. Hillary Clinton attacking Bernie Sanders, trying to put her loss in Wisconsin behind her, now saying she's not even sure Sanders is a Democrat. ABC's John Carl has the very latest in Washington. Good morning, John.
Good morning, Amy.
Yeah.
At this point, Hillary Clinton was hoping that she would be taking on Republicans, but with Bernie Sanders once again on a roll, she is aiming her fire at a Democratic rival who just won't go away.
Bernie Sanders is on a hot streak at a rally overnight in Philadelphia, firing off at Hillary Clinton.
She has been saying lately that she thinks that I am, quote unquote, not qualified to be president. I don't believe that she is qualified if she is, through her super PAC, taking tens of millions of dollars in special interest funds.
But Hillary Clinton, still the clear frontrunner, was fighting hard to close the deal, questioning whether Sanders has plans that will actually work.
In a number of important areas, he doesn't have a plan at all.
At another campaign stop in Philadelphia, Clinton even mocked Sanders' style at the podium.
I think if I'm asking you to vote for me, you should know what I want to do, and not just, lots of arm waving and hot rhetoric.
The Clinton campaign has also pounced on a shaky interview Sanders gave to the New York Daily News. The senator stumbled when asked how he'd break up the big banks, one of his signature campaign promises.
Do you think that the Fed now has that authority? I don't know if the Fed has it, but I think the administration can have it.
He'd been talking for more than a year about doing things that he obviously hadn't really studied or understood. And that does raise a lot of questions.
And Clinton even questioned whether Sanders, who for decades called himself an independent, is truly a Democrat.
He's a relatively new Democrat. And in fact, I'm not even sure he is one. He's running as one. So I don't know quite how to characterize him.
Now the Clinton campaign is demanding that Bernie Sanders take back his words, but the Sanders campaign is saying Hillary Clinton is just nervous. And, George, they are vowing to fight all the way to the Democratic convention with all the insults flying back and forth and now the talk of a fight at the Democratic convention. It almost seems like the Democrats are trying to sound a little like the Republicans.
Yeah, we could have some summer. Okay, John, thanks very much. We're going to turn now to that United Airlines flight forced a turnaround after the pilots realized they didn't have enough fuel. There are questions this morning about how this could happen, and ABC's David Curley has the details. Good morning, David.
Morning, George. All apologies to Ginger Z. It was the weather forecast. The pilots expected one thing. They got something entirely different.
It was this Boeing 777, nearly halfway across the Pacific, that returned to Hawaii. 4 hours in the air, ending up right where they started from.
United 724, visual post, clear for visual for United 724.
The 264 passengers hoping to be in California, spending another night on the islands.
We're safe. We didn't get hurt, so that's the most important thing, but it's a little frustrating at this point.
The Sunday flight to San Francisco was about 2 hours east of Hawaii when the pilots realized they're in a condition known as overburn, too much fuel being burned.
Even though it can inconvenience passengers and crew, when you get down to too low a fuel and too much fuel burn, there's only one thing to do, and that's turn around.
Why? The weather. The forecast, the pilots told the passengers, was wrong. They were hoping that the winds would be helping them.
They're like, oh, we predicted the wrong type of wind. We were predicting that we were going to have stronger tailwind, and now we have all this stronger headwind.
It is rare, but the rules for reserve fuel at landing are strict.
Doesn't mean you're going to run out, but it means you're not going to be legal. That's when you have to turn around.
And that's what they did. They turned around, went to Hawaii. They went to San Francisco the next day. The passengers all got there. United Airlines says they did this out of an abundance of caution, George.
Better than the alternative. Okay, David, thanks very much. And now Lara's back. We got this disturbing video out of San Antonio.
Disturbing is the right word, George. An investigation underway this morning after a new video emerges showing a San Antonio school officer slamming a 12-year-old girl to the ground. ABC's Ava Pilgrim is here with the latest. Good morning, Eva.
Good morning, Lara. The middle school student telling us she was suspended for 2 days for what happened that day. The officer saying she tried to kick him, but this morning the student saying he's coming. And we have to warn you, this video is hard to watch.
This video of a San Antonio school officer slamming a middle school student to the ground, causing outrage. Watch again. The video shows Rhodes Middle School Resource Officer Joshua Kem, students all around with his arms around 12-year-old Janissa Valdez. You see him pick her up and then throw her face down.
Yes, are you okay?
This morning, that officer is under investigation for using excessive force after the video, which was taken in March, was posted to YouTube this week.
She landed on her face. Right here, it was a bigger bump the first day, but I mean, it got down, but it's still bruised.
With a bruise still visible over her eye, Valdez admits she was arguing with another female student, but says that's it.
I was upset. I was angry because I still couldn't believe that he had done that to her. And then she told me, Mom, I wasn't fighting. Why did he do that?
School officials are now investigating, saying they learned about the incident after it was posted online.
We will not tolerate excessive force in this district. But I can also say that we need to find out all the details as to what occurred. The video is very concerning.
She's my daughter, and I just want justice for her.
This officer has been with the school police force for a little over a year. He was placed on administrative leave pending the outcome of the investigation. And still a lot of questions about what was going on before that video was shot. That is still so hard to watch. Eva, thank you so much for joining us. All right. And, well, we have to go back to Ginger, not because we don't love her, but it's just the message she's delivering, the rain and the wind.
You said that, Amy. We have to go back to Ginger.
I know. I love you.
I love you, too. I love you despite this. So we have a little brief reprieve. It's mild today, but very windy. Gusts up to 45 miles per hour. You can see from Delaware up through Long Island. You've got those wind advisories. And gusts could reach 60 in coastal Maine today. That front going to push through. Showers, some mild weather, but then the cold air sits right behind it. Look at some of the gusts by this afternoon, 1 p.m., 44 Atlantic City. Your local weather forecast just 30 seconds away. First, the rainy cities brought to you by Criminal, rated R.
Go, go, go! Got an officer down. We need help. In my head. Why? Looking for details that he knew before he was killed. Investable. I need you to remember.
You have any idea what's at stake?
Criminal rated R starts April 15th.
It's Thursday morning, and it looks like we're looking at temperatures in the mid-40s today. That will be it. Steady throughout the morning and through the afternoon. And with that, we do have scattered showers. Not a washout throughout the entire day, but look at our average, 59 degrees. Well below that and still breezy with winds out of the west at 10 to 20 miles per hour. And tomorrow, not much better. We'll have a break in the first part of our Friday, but then a mix of rain and snow later in the day. Maybe even a few flurries on Saturday, only 38. Back up to 53 by Sunday, and then 63 on Monday.
And coming up here on GMA, we have the couple who left Scientology desperately trying to reconnect with their grown children who stayed behind. Now they're taking aim at the church with this massive billboard.
We didn't know what else to do, so we figured we better make some statement.
They are speaking out for their children, and we're going to have what the church is saying about it this morning.
And the greatest...
Welcome back to GMA, and look at that wildfire consuming nearly 1,500 acres along the California-Arizona border. Flames are burning dangerously close to a lake, and people have been evacuated from there.
Wow, what dramatic video there. Also, right now, Donald Trump getting a big welcome in New York. Thousands showing up to greet him in his home state as all eyes turn now to the upcoming race here. And this morning, the world celebrating country star Merle Haggard. He passed away Wednesday on his 79th birthday. The star known for hits like Okie from Muskogee and Mama Tried. So many tributes, as you might imagine, pouring in right now. Merle Haggard's such a big force in the music world, and this morning, a trailer that is about to be a huge force in the movie world. Tremendous excitement, needless to say, for Star Wars fans. We've got a world exclusive for you. This is the trailer for the brand new chapter in the story, a group of unlikely heroes and the events that started it all.
You're seeing us because you can't see the trailer.
We cannot wait for this.
Imagine.
That's right. This is all about the events that took place before we ever even met Chewie, Luke, Leia, Han Solo. And this trailer, trust me, it's going to take your breath away. We've got it all coming up right here.
Just a little bit, but right now we have those new developments in a dentist murder mystery. The FBI is searching for this woman now on America's Most Wanted list, accused of arranging the murder of her ex's new girlfriend, who's a popular dentist. ABC's Lindsay Davis is here with the latest. Good morning, Lindsay.
Good morning, George. Brenda Delgado is the only woman on the FBI's top 10 most wanted list. Police have already arrested 2 people believed to be involved in the case, the alleged hitman and the alleged getaway driver. And now the FBI is working with authorities in Mexico to try to capture Delgado.
This morning, Brenda Delgado, a woman depicted by police as a lover scorned, is now on the FBI's 10 most wanted list, believed to be armed and dangerous and on the run. Accused of masterminding the murder of her ex-boyfriend's girlfriend, Dallas dentist Dr. Kendra Hatcher.
Delgado's addition to the list underscores the violent and calculated nature of the crime she's accused of committing.
Hatcher's family was in tears Wednesday, listening as the FBI offered a $100,000 reward for information leading to the arrest of the 33-year-old. Authorities say she'd hired a hitman, paying him $500 to shoot Hatcher in the parking garage of her luxury Dallas high-rise last September. The FBI describes Delgado as a jilted woman who was jealous of Hatcher because she was dating her dermatologist ex-boyfriend and had just been introduced to his parents.
What is left to do is to bring her to justice and have her answer for this crime that shocked our community.
One female is possibly shot in the neck.
Search warrants obtained by ABC News claim that Delgado stalked Hatcher using an iPhone to track her movements the night of her murder and would only pay the hitman, seen in this surveillance video, if he brought her Hatcher's driver's license as proof of death. Delgado was questioned days after the murder, but police say they didn't have enough evidence to charge her with a crime. The FBI believes she may now be hiding in Mexico, where she has family.
According to the capital murder indictment, Delgado and a drug cartel gave the shooter drugs and money in exchange for killing Hatcher.
Okay, Lindsay, thanks very much. Let's get more on this now from former FBI Special Agent Brad Garrett. Brad, thank you for joining us right there. We just heard she may be in Mexico, so what kind of tools does the FBI have to track her down?
Cell phones, previous associations and locations, George. Fugitives tend to go where they can function, where they can be supported, have money, etc. So my guess is they've probably already drawn a bead on her.
Will it be tough to get her back?
Well, probably not. Here's the real catch. Mexico may not extradite her if, in fact, she is going to face capital murder. That's going to be the big hang-up. I think the prosecutor has said she may not pursue the death penalty, but that's going to have to be worked out.
Because Mexico is against the death penalty, but it is exceptionally unusual for a woman to be on the FBI's most wanted list.
This is the 9th woman since 1950. But think about it this way, George. Women now are committing more violent acts. They're becoming part of the mainstream, if you will, of violent crime. And unfortunately, Miss Delgado, I think, fits that profile.
Okay, Brad Garrett, thanks very much.
And now to those stunning comments caught on tape by a Houston woman who says she secretly recorded a doctor and staff during her surgery. Now, in these recordings, you hear remarks about her looks and her personality, and ABC's Gio Benitez has the story.
Listen carefully, because few ever hear this.
She's a painter.
Secret recordings a patient says she made from the operating room. Ethel Easter says she hid a recorder in her hair extensions before going under the knife for a hernia operation. Easter says the hospital workers made disparaging comments about her body.
I was appalled, I was distraught, I was violated, thinking that I'm lying there naked after the surgery, and they have me still uncovered talking over my body like this.
And listen to this.
Precious, yes. This is Precious over here, saying hi to Precious over there.
Easter considered that to be a reference to the main character in the movie Precious.
It was racially profiling me, yes. I was offended by it.
Easter says she decided to secretly record her surgery after a tense meeting with the doctor.
We had some choice words to us in the clinic when we didn't book her case within 2 weeks. call a lawyer and file a complaint. It just doesn't seem like the thing to say to the person that's going to do your surgery.
In a letter to Easter, the hospital, Harris Healthcare, says it has alerted staff to be mindful of comments at all times, but they say no further action is being taken.
Around they go, wheel of annoying patients it goes.
In a separate incident, a Virginia anesthesiologist is paying the price after a man going in for a routine colonoscopy accidentally left his iPhone recording during the procedure, capturing this while knocked out.
And really, after 5 minutes of talking to you in pre-op, I wanted to punch you in the face and man you up a little.
A judge ruling the doctor in that case needs to pay $500,000.
And in this new case, the hospital tells us it won't comment because of patient privacy laws. Easter is considering a lawsuit, but she says she wants doctors to just stop speaking this way about patients in operating rooms.
Anyone who's gone under probably has wondered, but wow, that's stunning audio. Thank you so much, Gio.
Thank you.
All right, coming up next, calling out the Church of Scientology. One couple's plea to reach their estranged children with this billboard right in the church's backyard.
And we are counting down to your world-exclusive first look at the new Star Wars movie. It is just moments away.
We're back now with the parents who were Scientologists for years, putting up this huge billboard, desperately trying to reach their grown children who stayed in the church after they left. ABC's Matt Gutman has the story from Los Angeles. Good morning, Matt.
Hey, good morning, Lara. In a city where most billboards tout the latest Hollywood blockbuster, that one stands out with its two bold words, "Call me." Now, those former Scientologists say they haven't seen their kids in over 2 years, and that is their last-ditch attempt to reconnect.
It's a desperate plea, writ 3 stories high and 50 feet across.
Why the billboard?
Well, we tried everything. We tried phoning, we didn't know what else to do, so we figured we better make some statement.
But Phil and Willie Jones say they don't expect their 2 adult children, Emily and Michael, to actually call.
It has been hard. I can't tell you how many times we've cried about it.
The Jones say they're out of the Church of Scientology after 4 decades, but say their children are still in it.
Yeah, our daughter got married last year, and we weren't told. We don't know when exactly she got married.
The Jones say both of their children work within the church. Their son at Scientology's Celebrity Center, which has hosted some of Hollywood's biggest stars.
When I did finally get a phone call from Michael, he didn't want anything to do with it. He said, "I never want to talk to you again."
The couple says it tried to track him down at the center.
They won't allow us on the property. The security people come up and they say, "You're not welcome here."
Yeah.
Phil and Willie claim the church disconnected them. Disconnection is a Scientology term for ending communication with those who are antagonistic to the church, which says that the choice to disconnect is entirely voluntary.
Your daughter's 38 and your son is 42.
Right.
There are
They're adults and have free will and could reach out to their parents if they so chose.
Right. You would think that, but that's not necessarily the case in Scientology.
In a statement, the church says it is despicable that these individuals would use a private family matter to promote anti-religious hate and bigotry.
They say that you're promoting anti-religious hate and bigotry.
No.
Our whole message is not about their beliefs. It's just about reconnecting families and ending the disconnection, which is an abuse of families, we believe.
They say they have little to hold on to and fear retribution from the church, but add what they fear more is losing their children forever.
I don't know if the billboard is going to do anything, but it's another step. These are our kids. We want them in our lives.
Now, the Church of Scientology also said in its statement that the Joneses are teaming up with a reality show producer to, quote, shamelessly exploit their children. Now, the Joneses tell me that they're just producing a documentary about their journey. We reached out to their producer, who wouldn't divulge the exact nature of the project. Lara.
Matt, a lot of questions there. Thank you so much. And coming up, we've all seen The Force Awakens. Now, we have the world-exclusive very first look at the new Star Wars. Not out till December, but we've got it.
And later this morning, she's the 9-year-old reporter breaking crime stories, and that's stirring up some backlash. She is here live this morning. Stay with us.
Can you get off your computer and do something about this?
Okay, the countdown is over. We're back now with the world premiere, the first look at the brand new Star Wars standalone movie, Rogue One, a Star Wars story. Kenzie, take it away.
I cannot wait for this, guys. From the moment that it was revealed last night that the brand new Star Wars trailer would be dropping this morning, the excitement has been unbelievable. Rogue One was immediately a top trend on Twitter. And so right now, it is time for you to get ready, because a new force shall be with you.
State your name for the record.
Jin Erso.
Forgery of imperial documents, possession of stolen property, aggravated assault, resisting arrest.
On your own from the age of 15. Reckless, aggressive, and undisciplined. This is a rebellion, isn't it? I rebel. We have a mission for you. The major weapons test is imminent. We need to know what it is and how to destroy it.
Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
What will you do when they catch you? What will you do if they break you? If you continue to fight, what will you become?
Cannot wait. This new movie is going to open its doors. Many new adventures. You can see Rogue One, a Star Wars story. It's going to be in theaters in December.
What will you become?
Right.
That is the question.
Built up suspense right there.
Yep.
It's kind of the story of a bunch of the rebels and kind of how they steal the plans to the Death Star, which they're going to try to destroy.
Go on,
the very first Star Wars movie, A New Hope.
He's not going to give up any more.
Geeking out about
For
this.
our next hour, new website. It's busting cheaters on Tinder. Wait for that.
Back here on GMA, a storm coming onshore in Southern California going to change things up. It's going to become much more rainy and certainly cooler. That's for Southern California. But look what happens in Oregon. Near record highs today. Eugene to Medford, even Portland. All that weather brought to you by Almond Breeze. Good Morning America is brought to you by Aleve PM. Aleve PM for a better AM.
Fight. Should she be racing to the scene of crime coverage, all for her own newspaper? She says she just wants to report the truth, and she's fighting back against her critics.
Turn off your computer and do something about it. There. Is that cute enough for you?
This morning, the Divine Reporter live on GMA.
The brand new website that's busting cheaters using information from Tinder you think is private. Why it's time to think twice before you sign on and swipe. Big menu makeover. All week long, we've been rescuing your snacks from frozen yogurt to veggie chips. Now, simple secrets to transform your entire menu. Hungry Girl, Lisa Lillian, here live. All that, and it's a pitch perfect morning here with Anna Kendrick and Sam Rockwell live, as we say, good morning, America.
Good morning.
Good morning right in your faces.
Right in
Wake
your
up.
faces. Wake up. Smell like coffee.
Good Morning America continues live from Times Square with Robin, George, Lara, Amy, and Ginger.
And Good Morning America. Happy Thursday. Great to have Anna Kendrick, Sam Rockwell here coming up in just a little bit. And also, Jess, you're going to be trying out this new workout coming up later in the program.
Yeah, when I'm watching that video, my legs start to get sore immediately. That looks like fun on the trampoline. They got great music, great lighting. I'll tell you what, that is an incredible workout. You work up an amazing sweat.
When I was a diver in college, we used to do a ton of our workout was on a trampoline. Be ready for it.
Oh, yeah, no, I've done it. Trust me, I know. I'm glad I'm in a chair.
Also this morning, we have Hildy Kate Leshak. She is the fierce 9-year-old reporter who is breaking crime stories. She's getting some backlash for it. She is here live this morning to defend herself. We cannot wait to talk to her. Indeed. And then, if it's Thursday, it must be Deals and Steals Day. And this morning, you are going to love it. All about the 3 Bs. Bags, bling, and beauty. And the deals
starting at just $5. How does that Tory Johnson do it? We're going to save you up to 60%.
Every Thursday, she brings it. So happy for that. Now let's go to Amy, the Morning Rundown.
All right, good morning, guys. And the big story this morning, Donald Trump relying on his hometown advantage to bounce back from that loss in Wisconsin. Trump returned to New York, greeted by 6,000 cheering supporters last night before ripping into Ted Cruz. Meanwhile, Cruz is campaigning on Trump's turf, and ABC's Tom Yamas has all the latest on that. Tom.
Amy, good morning again. A massive crowd last night. Many of those Trump loyalists, you see them there wearing those red Make America Great Again hats. Trump saying how great it was to be back home, and Trump reminding that room full of New Yorkers about Ted Cruz's comments about New York values. It's a line Cruz used in Iowa to hammer Trump as someone who was not a real Republican. But now the race moves to New York, and George sat down with the Texas senator and asked him about that comment.
Let me be very clear. The people that I was talking about are the liberal New York Democrats who have hammered this state. It is people like Mayor Bill de Blasio. It is people like Governor Cuomo.
Donald Trump, you're saying?
Who has funded them all.
Now, the New York primary is less than 2 weeks away. Trump is going to stay focused on the Empire State, where polls show him way out in front. But after that big loss in Wisconsin, Trump wants to make sure he can win big here at home. Amy?
All right, Tom, thank you. And tension is also building between the Democrats. Hillary Clinton is demanding Bernie Sanders take back his words after he claimed Clinton is not qualified to be president because of her support for trade deals and big interests. Meanwhile, Clinton blasted Sanders on gun control and for stumbling when he was asked about his plan to break up big banks. In other news, thousands of people have lost power this morning after severe storms in the South. Tornadoes have been reported from Alabama to Georgia, crushing mobile homes and uprooting trees. We'll have much more in Ginger's forecast coming up in just a bit. In the meantime, federal authorities say a teenager from Texas has become the 10th person in the United States killed by an exploding airbag made by Takata. 17-year-old Huma Hanif was in a fender bender in her 2002 Honda Civic. She died after shrapnel from the airbag hit her neck. Honda says it sent the registered owner an airbag recall notice, but repairs were never made. And a shocking case of road rage in Minneapolis. Police are searching for a man they say shot a woman 4 times for honking her horn during rush hour on this road under construction. She was hit in the arm and the stomach, but thankfully is recovering. And there is new concern this morning about the Zika virus. Health officials say at least 2 species of mosquito can carry that virus, which is linked to birth defects. A new map from the White House shows one of those species could reach as far north as Maine and Minnesota. And if you're heading to the gym, you may want to bring along some hand sanitizer. A new study looked at bacteria levels on equipment at popular gyms. Bikes and treadmills were among the dirtiest, but the most common hangout for germs was on those free weights, which were covered, wait for it, with 360 times more bacteria than a toilet seat. You're welcome, America. And finally, the play of the day. Check out golf legend Gary Player, who is 80 years young. You got to look at this. He took this shot on the Masters course in Augusta. Down the hill it goes, and boom! Right into the hole. He is the oldest player to ever hit a hole-in-one in the annual par 3 contest. But you know, when you look at his history, he is a 3-time Masters champion, so that wasn't luck. That was skill.
Ball just eased its way in there.
The slope of the course, he got it just right.
You've hurt my feelings on the workout thing. I was going to go lift the weights after, but they'll stick with the trampoline.
Okay, let's go over to Lara.
You cannot be in a good mood up here, you guys, and here's what's coming up on your GMA morning menu. We are, as you can see, jumping into action, trying out the hot new trampoline fitness trend. So bummed out they didn't have one for me. And we're making over your meals. The so-called hungry girl, Lisa Lillian, is with us with delicious, easy dishes for busy moms. That is a peanut butter smoothie to die for. Thank you. And then Mr. Right co-stars Anna Kendrick, Sam Rockwell,